Hello, the great, wondrous, fantastic people and community of YouTube. Okay, I'm going to make a prediction. Politics has been a sort of a hobby of mine, and I've been sort of interested in since I don't know, since for over 30 years, at least over 30 years. And so, and I also like numbers, so I've been studying the Senate polls and congressional polls, and I think I have enough information to make a okay prediction. Okay, of the Senate and Congress, of how many seats will be won by the Republicans, how many seats will be won by the Democrats. So there are certain contests that are close in the Senate. You've got Nevada, you've got Arizona, you've got Florida, you have Missouri, you have Montana, you have West Virginia, a little bit, Indiana. And of those, I like to make a prediction on that. I think in Arizona, yeah, Sinema has had a checkered past because she was like this hardcore liberal. And she has, the Project Veritas undercover investigation kind of stung her a little bit. But the polling seems to have her still regularly ahead, and I still think in this open seat she's going to take it. So, one for the Democrats in Arizona. Nevada. Nevada seems to be pretty close. Heller's like the weakest Republican incumbent of anyone in the Senate. But having said that, he's still the incumbent. I've been seeing the polling, and it seems like it's really, really close. And recently it seems to be edging a little bit towards Heller. So I'm going to give it to Heller, and I'm going to say Nevada is going to go to the Republican side. So the two weakest seats, Arizona, Nevada, the Democrats will only pick up one. Now we go to, I think it's North Dakota, Heidi Camp. She's just going to lose. There's almost no shot whatsoever of her winning that seat. It's over. I think there's like $3 million for campaign fund, and she did so bad. She was like, there you go. I'm just going to give it to the North Dakota Democrats and let them use it for local elections. So she's basically given up, and plus you got the stupid hunter license law that said, if you vote in North Dakota, you might lose your hunting license in other states. That's a cheap, desperate political ploy. It's going to backfire on her, and it doesn't really matter anyway because she was going to lose. So right there, the Republicans will pick up a seat. So now we're even with the Democrats winning in Arizona and the Republicans winning in North Dakota. Next, Montana and West Virginia are both incumbent Democrats, and it seems to me that they have had a pretty solid hold in their polling, and Joe Manchin's been pretty far ahead in his latest two polls. I think he's up by 5% each one. And I think that's enough. So even if there was a little bit of a surprise with the polling, he's still going to take that one. So West Virginia, Democrats keep. I also think Joe Tester is going to keep the one, I think, is it Montana? Or is it? Well, anyway, Joe Tester's going to keep that seat. All right, now we go to two Midwest states. They be Missouri, and they be Indiana. And those are held by basically Democrats. So McCaskill and Donnelly, I think both are in trouble. I think Donnelly has been showing to be ahead in the polling as of late, but he's made some really, really stupid things. He made in the debate, he kind of sort of did this a little bit of a racist thing towards And so I'm like, hey. And then recently, I think this was really, really stupid. The Indiana Democrat Party decided to spend money on the Libertarian candidate's campaign. That never works. You do not spend Democrat money on Libertarian candidates so you can draw away Republicans. Because guess what? It makes the news, and the Republicans who were going to vote for the Libertarian candidate are like, wait a minute, what the freak are you trying to do? Screw you, I'm voting for the Republican. So that's going to backfire, and I don't know if it's going to be enough to take out Donnelly. That's critical, horrible political move and strategy. By the way, if you're going to, have the Libertarian candidate, the way you actually do it is you tell Democrat donors, like, say, hey, look, don't donate to our party, just donate to the Libertarian candidate's party. That's a little bit of a slicker move because the Libertarian actually gets the money. It's not the Democrats sowing libertarian commercial. So it's basically saying, hey, we don't want your money, give it to the Libertarians. That would have been a smarter move. It's because it's a little bit harder to prove. So when it comes to McCaskill and Donnelly, I give that a 50-50 for both of them to keep their seats. And usually you give it to the incumbent when it's a really, really close race. But I'm going to say 1 out of 2 of them is going to lose a seat. So now the Republicans have picked up one of those 2 seats, and now we're talking about at least 52. So we go down to Florida. I think, Gillum has had a little bit of a scandal, but I do think that he's going to bring out the black vote big time. And it's going to go down with the senator, and he will win the Democrat open seat. He's going to win that. I didn't talk about Texas, did I? I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. I think Cruz is still going to win, but don't be surprised if Beto O'Rourke is within 2 or 3%. I see him within 2.5% of Cruz, and the reason why is I think Trump made a horrible mistake when he said, okay, I'm thinking about with executive order taking away birthright citizenship. What he didn't do, and he didn't clarify enough, and what a lot of conservative commentators didn't clarify enough with, is that when you take away that they were going to grandfather clause people that already have birthright citizenship. They didn't say that. Trump didn't say, but you know what? Those that have birthright citizenship, they're going to be able to keep it. I'm just going to do it for the people who are newborns. That's the ones I'm focused on. He didn't do that. So now you have millions of people who are birthright citizens who are worried that their citizenship is going to be taken away and they're going to be sent to another country. That wasn't clarified enough, and I think that's going to hurt him because I think a lot of birthright citizens who would have voted Republican will vote for their own interest and vote Democrat. So Beto's going to be within 2 to 3%. Yes, I know he's had that scandal with the Project Veritas where his campaign workers were actually using campaign money to give food and like other necessities to the caravan people that came early to the Texas border. Let's see what else. Menendez, New Jersey, that looks pretty solid. Menendez will win that. Wisconsin and Michigan, both of those have been polling really, really, really well, like 8-9%. And even if there is like a huge difference like there was in 2016, it's still not enough for those senators to lose. So I see that as a gain for the Democrats. And I think in Minnesota, the Democrats will win too. And there's other Senate seats, of course. But let's go on to Congress. From the latest polling I've seen by Real Clear Politics, and this is all the polling I go for is the Real Clear Politics polling. It tends to they tend to be a tad bit conservative. From what I see, I think Congress, the general ballot, Democrats are up by 7%. General. Okay. Here's something you may not know. In 1942, the Democrats were behind in the popular vote by 3.8%, but they still were able to maintain control of Congress by, I think, like 221 to 209 seats. That is, I think, the lowest losing percentage while winning Congress. So why do I bring this up? Because in like 10 different polls, when you average them out, the Democrats were up by 7%. Like I told you, Hillary Clinton was up by 3.3% before the election. And she actually won the popular vote by 2.1%, meaning there was only a 1.2% difference. Well, if you take that 7% and you minus 1.2%, or let's even go farther and say there's a 2% polling error in all those polls, which seems doubtful because usually the opposing party, tends to outdo the polls, in a midterm election. But, so let's say it's 2%. If the Democrats won by 5%, they're still taking control of the House. There was something interesting I've been noticing, and why I think the Democrats will probably win 230, 225 seats. The Midwest, all the polling seems to be super, super strong pro-Democrat. Like, for instance, a good example of how strong the polling, how Democrat is this time around, is Kim Reynolds. She is the Iowa governor, and from what I understand, the Iowa economy is actually doing pretty good. Unemployment's really, really good. They've made the budget, and it's a balanced budget. So, by all sense, and she's actually a pretty good speaker, but despite all that, she's in a toss-up race against Fred Hubble, who's a Democrat, who's a businessman, who refuses to show his tax returns. That's troubling. I see her as the canary in the coal mine. If she's in trouble, what about... There's going to be a lot of congressional races where the Republicans also going to be in trouble. And so I think Iowa, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana even a little bit, Ohio, Pennsylvania, a lot of those congressional seats that are close are going to tip the Democrat direction. So for me, let's go 228. The polling has started to a little bit go towards the Republican side in the past couple days. And so it was the Democrats up by 7.5%. Now they're up by 7%. So let's say they gain another 0.5%. Still not enough. I'm going to go Democrats win at least 228 seats in the House. All right. Well, that's my political prediction. Republicans, they win 52 seats in the Senate. The Democrats, they win 228 seats in the House, which will be a fairly comfortable margin. So, as far as my prognostication goes, yeah. Republicans pick up 1 seat, and the Democrats pick up a lot of seats and get 228. All right. I'll talk to you some other time. Bye-bye.